no money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late. Yeah, painful profits to help you seek change. And you just wanna get paid. Yeah, tired of making no money mistakes. Make a payment on your bills and you still late. Painful profits to help you seek change. Yeah, cut the show and just listen. You wanna feel empowered by making money decisions. Residual by the hours can get you a better living. Been check to check, you knowing it could be different.
So welcome to another episode of Payneful Profits with your host, Mario Payne. Everybody wants to be a boss. We all want to boss up. We all want to level up. But a 9-to-5 might be better. Yes, I've been blessed to have my own practice, but first I did work for a company. We now have Let Bob, that's a startup, but we have to crawl before we walk. So today's conversation is going to be about a 9-to-5 versus being your own boss. Your own owner, working for somebody. Good, bad, what makes money, what doesn't make money. Let's make some painful profits together, y'all. Peace.
So 9-to-5 versus your own business. So did you take any processes or any steps that you learned from your 9-to-5 into your business the second time you had it?
Yes, sir.
Like what?
All of customer service, the systems on running business. Like, you don't run business off a great idea. Your great idea is just a concept. Okay. It needs a system to run off. Depending on the business.
Yes.
Like, if you're going to open a collection agency, you need to have good phone lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going to run a business that requires you to use internet, you need the right amount of
gigabytes.
Yes, no, real talk. Millionaires, marketing, right?
That's right.
That's what you learn in your 9-to-5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we learn personality types in 9-to-5.
Oh yeah, I think a 9-to-5 will prepare you for being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
So my thing, and I see it a lot with clients, right, is that most of my clients who have money is actually 9-to-5. Work somewhere, put money in their 401k. You know, if you have a company, they give you 3%. So you got $100. They put in $3. You put in $6, and it is over time put money in their 401k and it grows.
Right.
But my top clients I have, the multi-millionaires, is because of their own business. Right. So I think from a risk reward standpoint, since only 84% of 84% of businesses fail, so only 16 of businesses become successful over a 3-year time period.
Say that again?
Yeah.
84% of all businesses fail.
84% of all businesses fail.
Yeah.
Now, that all businesses are first-time businesses?
All businesses.
Ooh, Lord.
Because think about it, all businesses are at one time first-time businesses.
Okay.
Right? So if it's 100 people who are starting a business, because once you have your succession, you're succeeded already, right? But if it's 100 people that in this room have a business, 84% over 3 years is going to phase out, right? So who has the wherewithal to stay for the long haul?
Right.
Most people don't.
Well, that probably takes a lot of money.
As well, yeah, as well. So when the person comes to me and says, you know, should I keep my 9-to-5? Should I start my own business? I tell them, keep your 9-to-5. But then on the side, to your point, yes, start your business, right?
For sure.
Because think about it, if you have a 9-to-5, you have a 401k.
That's right.
Right now,
and
right
hopefully
now it's a 201k.
Yeah.
And they match it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have a 401k.
Yeah.
You have benefits. So if you have children, you have benefits that you're not paying for.
Right.
You have a salary, so during the good times and bad times, you're still being paid.
That's
right.
right.
Like a business, during the bad times,
you may not
get paid as much, right? But like I said, just from a people standpoint, it takes a certain amount of person to kind of stay with that business.
Yeah.
Like I said, believe it or not, most of my clients with money is through 401ks. It's through I got a lump sum pension. I put money in my 401k for 15, 20, 30 years is invested. So like the majority of my clients are employees. But like I said, the uber successful ones I have is from business.
Wow.
So catch 22.
I think, let me ask you this, out of the small percentage that are business owners, what percentage of them are in love with their business? It goes back to what you say with you got to do what you love first.
That's good. I personally believe, and this is me, right? Because as I talk to clients, if they're making money, they're happy. When they're not making money, they're not happy.
Yeah.
So you can love something and have a passion, but if you ain't paying the bills, you get mad, you get resentful about your business decisions. So that's like a double-edged sword. Yes, you want to do something that you're passionate about, right? But it has to make sense.
It has to make sense.
If it doesn't make dollars,
don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So, man, you got me there. I really can't give you a...
Because, I mean, you have a successful business, and clearly you have a passion, and you love it, and I'm just wondering if that contributes to the success, you know?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I definitely think that the Lord blessed me to help people. Tithe off my alms means stewardship, so I definitely think the Lord gave me a gift. So when I see people make money, we have conversations 2 years ago, how much they made compared to what they had made now. If I pull up their stuff, they made money. If I see people take money out to pay for kids' college, for a spouse to get a 30-year wedding anniversary, a big old ring, right? Like that makes me feel happy. Like the things that I've done has helped you do.
Help them, yeah.
So you definitely be passionate. But then also, I own part of a stormwater company that basically moves stormwater from one sewer to another. That ain't me, but it made sense.
Yeah.
So definitely, as an investor, you definitely want to make sure it makes dollars, it makes sense. Even if you don't know it, you want to have a team around you. You want to have individuals that kind of help break down the expenses. It's a good investment or a bad investment. But I would say, don't go on Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't go on YouTube. Don't get on Twitter and see a person, hey, I made X amount of dollars in 2 years with this Amazon business, and then you jump out your business and you want to be the boss.
Yeah.
Right? I definitely wouldn't recommend that.
So you didn't...
Man, what delivery they doing out there? They doing furniture out there?
They probably cleaning somebody's trash. So you didn't really say which was better. So you think it's contingent on the person?
On the person. On the person if you have finances in order to.
Your top clients have their own business.
My super successful clients have their own businesses. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
But there are some super successful people who work 9 to 5.
Correct. And I have a lot of clients who have their own businesses who, continue to take money out their account to fund their business so their money doesn't grow like it should. Yeah. So it depends on the person. It depends on the business by itself, how much expenses it's going to take, right? So you can have like an online business that very, very low expenses, right? That you can make money quicker. But then you could have something like a warehouse where you're just spending so much money, even though you're making money. Yeah. So I think it also depends on the business.
It depends on the business. Yeah. Is the business profitable or not?
Right. Yeah. But if you don't have the capital, right? If you don't have the capital, it doesn't matter how good of a business idea that you have. Yeah. So if I had a person put a gun to my head and say, Mario, should I do a 9 to 5 or should I do a business? I would probably say a 9 to 5.
Wow. So if someone asked me, which they probably wouldn't. I would say do both. I've always done both. I've had businesses, but I've always kept a 9 to 5. Right. Just for the stability. Right. The health insurance. I would say do both.
Yeah. And that would be the best of both worlds. But if one decision.
If you had to make one decision.
What would it be?
For me?
Ladies first, man. Come on.
I mean, she taking so long.
I would say...
Miss, don't make a decision. Do both.
I would say business.
Business, okay.
I would say start your own. You only live once.
Now, is that...
You can always go back to 9 to 5.
Is that because boss talk, be my own boss up?
No, I think you can always go back. You can always get a 9 to 5. You can't always go back to owning your own business. Step out on faith. Try it. If it doesn't work out, go back to 9 to 5.
Okay.
Terrence, that's what you did. You said pretty much that was your blueprint.
Yeah, I was kind of born into it. Like, my dad had his own business, so I started working for him. And from, of course, outside looking in as a kid, he did what he wanted to do. If he needed to go somewhere, he could go. He didn't have to explain. To me, that was bossing.
Yeah.
I don't have to report to nobody to do it.
Yeah.
So I started a business, a construction business. What I didn't know was the other side. You know, when you're working as a subcontractor, reporting to a general, during that time, generals were running off with the money without paying people. So when I went into business, I had 3 to do that to me in a row.
Oh.
So it's going to either be, and this is a decision that I made initially.
So wait. So back to back to back, they ran off with your money on 3 different occasions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Wow. So you didn't have any safeguards in place?
Such as?
I mean, I'm not in construction, so I don't know. But you have to have some type of safeguard. Maybe I give you 25% of. So if it's a job that's a $10,000 job, maybe I give you $2,500.
Yeah, we did that. No. So at the time, I was a drywall contractor.
Okay.
So yeah, you get a percentage up front. You get a percentage when you do the first coat, second coat, third coat.
Okay.
Right? Generally, when they run off, it's on that last coat. Some run off before that. Now, you run off before that, I'm out. But the last coat, which is probably the skim coat is the most expensive.
Okay.
You working your coat trying to get paid. You can't get your money until you finish it.
Okay.
And they're in Honolulu, Hawaii. They made their money off the job, so they're gone.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha, I see.
You can't prevent that. It's part of the gamble of being in that industry. So having that happen, asked my dad, how did you deal with it? I just went to the next one. Well, that wasn't my mentality. Mine was, I'm gonna have to leave this business because I shouldn't be having thoughts of murder. I don't work. I got a small kid, a wife. I've worked 90 hours. I sacrifice Sundays, Saturdays, weekends, and you gonna run off with my money?
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I find you and stop you from breathing.
Ran off with the plug twice, I guess. Huh?
That's right. 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
No, I feel you though.
But
you're still in it. So what made you stick with it?
9 to 5 just confines me. I'm a bird. I'm free. I'd rather the struggles that you get from being an entrepreneur, all the exhilarating things that happen, all of the highs and lows. Because in my opinion, you're going to suffer somewhere.
You are.
Suffer for yourself.
You are. You are. Yeah. That's true. That's true. Like I said, I look at things just from a pure, and maybe because what I do for a living, like monetary, right? And monetary because a lot of people would make a wrong decision, right? A lot of people, after the first time they ran off the contract, they say, you know what, this ain't for me, right? So now I've invested time and money that I never get back. So since most people, I'm not going to say are quitters, but definitely don't see things through like they should, how about we just get that 9 to 5, we network, we grow in a corporate ladder. Now, yes, you can get promotions and go from one company to another company, roll your 401k over, right? So make money in the IRA as that grows.
Yes.
But if you have that foundation of 9 to 5, so when things like that happen, you're still being paid. You're not having to worry about all the extra costs because you're not running the business. That might make you succeed more.
That's good.
So what are some pains?
That's real good.
True. What are some pains that you dealt with as you grew your business?
Man.
It may still have some pains.
Man, so I'm going to give you an example of one of my staff members. She worked for 2 days. Not 1, but 2 days. Hired her. 2 weeks later, she came in. On Monday, I got into a car accident. That don't make sense. On Tuesday, my husband's sick. Okay, you know this ain't going to work. Ask her to send pictures of a car accident. She photoshops a car accident.
Oh.
3 weeks later, I get a letter from the state of Florida. She's filing unemployment. So I paid you for 2 days, and I had to pay 6 months worth of unemployment. I was like, what the heck is going on? Stuff like that you can't control. Long story short, you can't control. In my business, the market goes up, the market goes down. We might put people in the greatest investments known to mankind, but if the market goes down, nothing we can do about it. Now, of course, as we know, we have our own ETF that I co-own, Let Bob, symbol LETB. ETF, my bad. Exchange Traded Fund. Okay. An exchange traded fund is like a mutual fund that's on the stock market. So it's diversified. So you might have Apple, Google, Microsoft, a whole bunch of stocks in that one fund. So instead of buying one company, you're buying multiple companies. Right. The good thing about my ETF, Exchange Traded Fund, is that when things are going good, we put you into the market. Mm-hmm. When things are not going good, we take you out the market. Mm-hmm. During this downturn this year, our ETF has been out the market 70 to 90% in cash, which means for every $100 invested in the stock market, only $10 to $30 is in the stock market. So it's the old adage, I can't lose money in the stock market when my money's not in the stock market. It's great. First black-owned
I think you're moving too fast. You're the first
black-owned
ETF
ever on the stock market.
I gotta get up on that. I know we gotta take you down. Applause. Give me some of those hands clap.
Oh my God.
Like Puffy. Like Puffy. It's not all just me though. It's not all just me. We have a team, right? So the co-founder Anthony Buchanan, he actually graduated from FAMU. Okay. So it was his baby. He let me come along years ago and help. So we definitely have a team. We have other investors, Kendall, Attorney Dexter Davis, but all of us together years ago saw a problem, created a solution, went through a lot of process, but just like business, right? Problem, solution. Yeah. And the process is here we have our own first black-owned AI strategy ETF from the stock market.
Wow.
Let be LET. Let be. B is Bob. Bob stands for Black-Owned Business. Very, very proud of what we're doing. Very, very
so you all found a problem.
Found a problem.
And you knew the solution.
Knew the solution, yes.
So, risk reward.
High risk. High reward though.
High reward.
I think that's good because you have so many of us. Yeah. We jump in business because we have an idea, but we don't calculate what it's going to take for that idea to take feet, root. We run with the idea and we want everybody to get on board, and we get mad when we don't support. Don't none of y'all come to my store. There's a lady I know, she had a restaurant, and she said that community doesn't support. She was talking about the community that the restaurant was in.
Okay.
So I said, well, where's your research analysis on the type of business you have? She said, well, what are you talking about? I don't know that. I just know we put the restaurant there. No, there's research that you have to do. You got to study the demographics.
Right.
Who likes what you serve?
Right.
You just can't go with your idea and expect people to gather around and patronize you because you thought it was a good idea.
Right.
There's research that goes in. You have to understand the demographics. And what I hear you say is you were the answer. How did you find the problem? Is what I mean.
Yeah. So back to Erica, take a step back. Back to Erica's point, FAMU, right? So my business partner.
Right.
Well, you know, Tennessee State's the best HBCU of them all, but that's a whole other story for another day. But
TSU, we all HBCU.
Yeah, true. So my business partner, Anthony, so it was his baby. He actually saw the problem. I'm just blessed that he approached me with helping him find a solution. So definitely, anytime you have a team in a business, it's not just one person. It was his baby, and he allowed us to birth the baby. But talking about business as I go there, Anthony, for instance, right, where I say 9 to 5 a business, he would always pick business. He had a club that he owned. He was doing real estate for a while. He was doing fire extinguishers for a while. So you have to have that mindset that I'm going to succeed.
I think it's a mindset. I think you that's it.
Yeah.
It's a mindset.
Definitely mindset. So So the problem was investors watch YouTube, watch Instagram, they want to invest. But in our community, when we invest and we lose, we never invest again. Yeah. So how is it a way that you can invest your money in something and not worry about it? And when things are going good, you're maximizing the potential of what you make, maximizing profits. But more importantly, when things are going bad, how can you be out of something so you don't lose as much money as everybody else? So that was the problem. He approached me with, how can it be a solution? It has to be something investment-wise. We created a strategy. Him, and as smart as he is, automated the strategy. We have a actual person who does trading, who trades stocks on a day-to-day basis. He said, these are how you do these strategies and implement it into the fund. And us as a team created it.
Wow.
So
HBCU too. So Dave, shout out to Dave, right? Jackson State.
Okay.
HBCU. So it's our people doing things that's going to help our community.
for us spies.
Right?
FUBU.
You see what food?
Man, I work nah.
And crop colors.
I gotta keep it real.
Well, yeah, Cross Cross, then you had Chris Cross.
Yes, you're
I gotta keep it real, right? We talk about Payneful Profits, right?
Yeah.
It was painful because I had knockoff FUBU. My
How you
parents
find
wouldn't.
knockoff food from?
You gotta ask my parents.
The flea market.
Oh, for the flea market, of course, right?
Word.
You so
For
bougie.
the swap meet, flea market.
Word. No, man, we wouldn't. No, I don't think we were bougie.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely didn't.
His daddy
grow
had that
rich.
business. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's what it is, see?
No.
9 to 5, parents and having their own business. I guess it is a difference.
No, because my parents wouldn't buy us name brand. We had to buy our own.
Okay.
But my thing was, I went to Northwestern public school. I went when you could get shot in math class.
That's not good at all, actually.
But real talk, we had to work for it, and you weren't going to school with no knockoff. It's just what they know it. It was almost like they could smell it. And you know, we had these rank sets. Why don't you ain't come over here with that knockoff?
When them bobo.
with them bobos.
So question.
With them hot boxes on.
So why do you think, because of course Northwestern, 99% minority school, right? Why is it that we look at things like clothes
I think it's about to get
and
good.
materialistic stuff
Mm.
and not actually money in our bank account as a sense of being rich and making wealth?
We talked about it on a show we did probably about 6 months ago. Because, first of all, we move off a sensation. And we move off how the market is driven. So if they're putting money behind the Jordan brand, and that's all we hear, that's all we see, then that's what we're flocking to. So it's more important for me to look right than be right,
Yeah.
because the market doesn't push
Yeah.
money,
Right.
investment. You don't
Exactly.
name 5 commercials about investing your money in this company. It's not. So the market is driven off of purchasing
That's right.
whatever the latest fad is. So we run with that.
It's what we see.
It's what we see. If
You
we had
can't
more
be what you
teachers-
can't see.
Say it one more time.
Can't be what you can't see.
You can't be what you can't see.
You was a rapper before?
You know it.
I know all the
MC
businesses you
Eric.
have, right?
You can't be what you can't
Can't
see.
be. And
So
that's what it is.
If they're pushing this, then
Yeah.
that's what we follow.
Yeah.
Black people, believe it or not, I hate to say it, African Americans are natural leaders.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the suppression that has happened, the oppression. We are natural leaders.
And let me tell you how you so right. Everything we've overcome, and we're still leaders. We're
leaders.
still looked at for everything.
And this is what we do now.
Yes.
That leadership ability doesn't go anywhere because I'm sporting your brand.
Mm.
So even though it's your brand, I lead my community
Yeah.
with pushing
Your brand.
your brand.
Yep.
So we think Ralph Lauren Polo, Reebok, Adidas, Gucci,
Yes.
Louis Vuitton. We think it's our job to show the world we have something now. So we lead with your brand. We don't have teachers to tell us that's somebody's name. All these fashion is
Exactly.
somebody's name. You can have the same. Invest in yourself.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's another reason why I chose entrepreneurship.
Having your
It's
own.
investing in me.
Investing in
Having your
you.
own. The good thing about entrepreneurship, you also have different streams of income, right?
Mhm.
You have a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
You can have
Several.
several coffee
I work
shops.
hard to get it work.
Thank you,
Several
Lord.
coffee shops.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So think about that. So of course you can also have merch, right? You put on the internet a lot cheaper because it's not in the store, or you put it in the store. So that's another stream of income, right? You can then do franchises where individuals wants to invest in your business, right? You can run shows out of it. A person wants to create something and have a set, you can have it run through the coffee shop. That's 3 different streams of income. A person has a 9 to 5, they don't have those streams of income.
This is true.
So yes, entrepreneurship
Yes.
is also a way to stretch your money.
That's right.
It's all about how you monetize it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which goes back to how you see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't monetize what you can't visualize.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just come
That
back
was a
to
spin
what-
off of what I said.
Yeah. What did you say earlier?
I don't even remember. I'm looking at your phone like a pizza here.
You gotta be free.
You got to see free to be free.
Okay, yeah.
What you see is what you become.
Ooh, that's deep. It's very it's very deep. And you know what? Let me ask you this: at what age did you learn that?
What you see is what you become.
Yeah, you were very young.
You know, so I think some things are innate, and I think that's one of the things that are innate. We can't articulate it necessarily, or we don't even necessarily understand the system of it. But I think I've always known that.
What age do you think you do you feel like you were younger or older? I'm going somewhere with this.
When I got it, or when I really got it?
When you got it.
Because I think you're
When I got it or when I understood it.
When you got it, because you're still growing in that.
Yeah, because I think a person's born genetics with with what they're going to be. It's just how do you tap into that inner self to be as successful as you can, right? But for me, I think it was probably the military. Now, I am not a military man per se. I did not do all 20 years. I did my 5 years as a reserve, so I wasn't even full time. I had to go fighting for the war, pushing papers in 2003. Well, not a fighter, so I wasn't in Iraq doing fighting, but I was over there. But definitely the discipline that I found about myself, the organizational skills I still use today in my businesses I run, I think that's when the light bulb, right? But I don't think for the military that light bulb would have came out. I had to find that in me, and the military helped me find it.
I think you both probably got that much younger than you're giving yourself credit for. And I say that, I think the reason why our younger generation, they can't see it, I don't think that we have anybody showing them at a younger age.
When I said,
because I think you got that with, there you go.
I came out of the womb with it.
Yeah, I believe that.
I came.
You saw that a lot.
It had to be nurtured, though.
Yes, there you go.
It had to be nurtured. We are who we are as a result of our Father's house.
Yes.
Our Father's house is what makes us. It's where we get our first visualization of everything.
Because you have children. What do you think? Do you think it's birthing them, or do you think seeing your children grow? You think it's something that they learn over time? What do you think?
I think it's they see it in me. So my daughter's just like me. She's 26. I know. Y'all supposed to say, you got a 26-year-old?
I know, yeah. You
okay, thank you.
I mean, you look good and all, but
yes.
see 26.
But you know, she saw it in me. So that's why I feel it's so important. A lot of times we throw away our youth. Oh, they just terrible. But they don't see it. And so my daughter saw me work hard. She saw my work ethic, and I taught that in her. And so I think she's the same way.
Okay.
You know, because she saw it at a young age. Okay. She didn't just turn 27 and have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if she's born with it. Some of that stuff might be kind of genetic. But I just think that's the thing. I don't think our youth is able to see it.
They're not. I don't think it's ever a time I didn't see my parents on the go.
There you go.
They were always working.
Yeah.
And growing up, we didn't complain. You don't spend enough time with me?
No.
Because they put in us is not the quantity of time, but the quality.
The quality.
We do family outings, go to breakfast, go play video games. We go ride go-karts. And that held us. But during the week, it's grind time. Right. We didn't get all that fuzzy stuff that these kids get.
That's right.
Now.
So question. So people talk about our community and the plight of our community, and we on average, statistically, have more broken homes than other communities. Do you think that's a big part of that because we're working so much to provide for the family that we're not at home as much? Since we're not as home, then the husband, wife, or mother-father relationship gets cracked, and that foundation gets cracked where it is broken homes over time.
I got a lot to say about that, but you said ladies first. So.
I think that it does. You know, I think that a lot of times, and I know y'all gonna jump on me for this, but I think a lot of times men are so in their mind, I gotta work, I gotta provide, and raising children and having a healthy family is just more than money. So I think you're right. You know, a lot of times when you work, but on the flip side, if they're not providing, then how are we gonna have the things that we have? So, I mean, I think that a lot of what's going on in our communities is because the lack of time that we're investing in our children. Okay. You know, because they have the latest Jordans, and but I'm buying you this, you got this, I'm taking, but you're not spending that quality time with me. So,
I don't think in America that the black man has ever been in the home. When we look historically at where we come from, how America was built, men were never in the home. Because we were building the country. We were fighting for this country. When I say building...
Definitely building. You're right.
We were the ones with the brick and mortar building the country. So historically, in the African-American community, the father's never been in the home. Let me show you the genius of this community, though.
Yeah.
The woman became whatever she needed to become to raise those kids. And those kids grew up and nothing was wrong. There is a overarching myth about the black family and the absence of the male. Now hear me. There's some stats that can prove the benefits of having the male in the home. But at the same time, I can show you stats of people benefiting without the male being in the home.
Right.
Now, I believe that we're in a better place, and we have to have a conversation about how we move forward, about the balance of time. But I heard T.D. Jakes say something that has stained me for life. He said, every day I wake up, I know I'm gonna lose somewhere. I have to pick my losses. Because if I work, which is what I was created to do, to provide for my family, I'm gonna miss Little Johnny football game.
Right.
But if I go to Little Johnny football game, I'm gonna get behind on the mortgage. And we have to look at the whole picture.
Tough.
We just can't look at pieces of it. We have to look at the whole picture and say, hey, I know you want balance, but how do you get that in America with us?
Yeah.
So that goes back to having your own business at 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
If I had a 9 to 5 and I'm growing in my company, but it's not my business, I might be able to go to one of those games. Maybe I might not have the Range Rover, I might have the Ford Explorer, but I'm still able to provide for the family, put food on the table, but I'm there in the homes.
Not necessarily, because I did the 9 to 5 thing, right? My position required me to do overtime.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Or weekends.
And weekends.
Yeah.
So it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
How long is that?
Pretty long.
Welcome back to Payneful Profits. I'm your host, Mario Payne. In this interview segment of our show, we're going to talk to Mr. TSU. Yes, he was Mr. TSU back in the day, but now he's the owner of an app called HBCU Hub. It's great. It identifies all 100 plus HBCUs in one app. It makes you match with the HBCUs depending on what you want to do with your career, how your college life you want to turn out to be from a social standpoint, location, and also who's like you. Particularly if you can identify what HBCU to go to from a cost standpoint, from a lifestyle standpoint. We got an HBCU Hub, so Dr. Brooks, let's take it away.
Today we got a special guest, man, a person who's rocking and rolling, doing a lot of great stuff in our community from an HBCU standpoint. Homeboy DJ. So DJ, introduce yourself and tell me about your background.
Yes, sir. My name's DJ, Dr. Darius Brooks. My background is in higher education.
My bad, doctor.
Nah, man, but my background is in higher education administration. So I normally work with low income first generation college students, basically helping them navigate that new space of college that can be kind of a scary task for someone coming from a low income first gen background, meaning they didn't have anyone to show them the ropes about college and things of that nature. So I kind of step in place to kind of help them navigate that space, college and career exploration and preparation, man. So that's my background.
Where you from?
So I'm originally from Chattanooga, Tennessee. But I moved to Nashville, Tennessee when I was like 14 years old. So I usually say from Chattanooga, Tennessee by way of Nashville because I went to high school and graduated high school in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to ask the cliche question, but I'm going to ask. So you got the TSU hat on. That's what our podcast is about. Showing light, giving flowers to our own. And you being, Dr. Brooks, you know what I'm saying? That's something to definitely hang your hat on. But, why HBCU, man?
So funny story, man. Like I said, I myself, I was a first generation low income college student. So that's probably why I'm so particular about working with that demographic of students. But for myself, man, my mom and dad had me when they were young, 17, 18 years old. My dad was 18, my mom was 17. My dad was kind of, in the streets a little bit here and there. And when he had me, he said it changed his life. So he went to the military. So he made that tough decision of, do I stay here and, possibly get caught up in some stuff while having a son, or do I, try to make it? So he went to the military. My mom was 17, so she was still, trying to finish high school. So she wasn't going with him. So they had me young, and like, I really didn't know. I mean, college wasn't a thing to me. Honestly, man, graduating high school, college wasn't on my radar. I was going to either go to the military or hit the job force. But one of my high school counselors, Shamika Beadle, shout out to Miss Beadle and Miss Turner, great ladies. So they saw something in me, man. They was like, nah, man, you can go to college, you can, you can do this, you can do that. So they made my mind start wondering about like what it would be like. And then when they took me to different colleges and they took me to HBCUs, both of them went to TSU. One of my other mentors, Dean Williams, he went to TSU. So TSU was like kind of that first step of introducing me to college. But I BS'd around a little bit my senior year. I was always smart, always got good grades, but my senior year I started to get into like, trying to be fresh and get the girls, and my grades started slipping. I really didn't take the ACT seriously. I took it the day after the prom, so I made like an 18. It was a lot going on, man. And, I actually started out at Nashville State, Nashville Tech, Nashville Community College first.
Really?
My first year, I went to Nashville State, and then I transferred to TSU. The reason I went to Nashville State first, trying to get my feet wet to see what's college for me, because I'm one of them people, I truly believe college isn't for everyone.
Straight up.
So I did that, and then I ended up at TSU. It just felt like home because all of my mentors, all the people that I looked up to went to TSU. Dean Williams was a noob. My Kappa League sponsor was a noob that went to TSU. So it just kind of felt like my band directors all went to TSU. They was all aristocrats. So TSU just felt like home. So after I did my semester at Nashville State, got my grades up, so I didn't have to take remedial courses or anything like that. I just transferred over to TSU, and it was just felt like home.
Bro, so how was that process like? Because typically when people go to community colleges, like they don't finish, nevertheless go to a bigger university.
Man, all my friends was going to college. I was like, you know what I mean? Like, see, so a lot of my friends, either parents went to college or, somebody was pushing them to go to college because we all were athletes. So a lot of my friends were getting scholarships to go to college and hoop and run track and things of that nature. So I was like, man, I can't just be sitting around, doing nothing. And then like at community colleges, it's very non-traditional. So you talking about I'm 7 and I graduated when I was 17. So I graduated, I'm 17, going to community college with 28, 29. Yeah, it didn't feel right. Like, it wasn't fun. It wasn't the college that they showed me on TV. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for that. So visiting TSU and then homecoming, I visited during homecoming. So it kind of like, it's kind of like addicted. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of like addicted, man. You get around that culture, you know, you see us, you know what I mean? It's us. So it wasn't a hard transition for me because I knew where I wanted to be. I knew the type of guy I was and where I needed to be. So it wasn't a hard transition.
You was Mr. TSU, weren't you?
Yeah, man. Mr. Tennessee State University, 2006 through 2008.
Man, so how was that process like?
Yeah, man. So they start out with requirements. You have to have a certain GPA. You can't be a graduating senior. You have to get so many letters of recommendation, and then they do like a competition. And it's different now. When I ran for Mr. TSU, it was a panel of judges. These were faculty, staff, administrators. So you had to actually put on a performance in front of the student body, and then this panel of administrators gave you scores as you're going through. They tally up the scores, and whoever has the best scores win. Now it's a little different because the students actually vote. I think it should be both. I think the students should have a vote, and then administrators, because it kind of eliminates that popularity contest.
Yeah. You could buy some votes.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a great experience, man. It kind of exposed me and put me in a network that I would have probably never gotten to had I not been Mr. TSU. Sitting at tables with, board members and the president, and having, open phone contact with the president. They invited me over for Sunday dinner. So it was a great experience for me.
Man, that's something they can never take from you, bro. Like, you're going to always and forever in TSU accreditation history, you're going to always be in that box, bro, of the elites and the chosen few, bro. And we're going to talk about the other chosen few at some point too. But that's like, have you ever thought about that, bro? Like, you did it, and now, like, you didn't have so many other accomplishments, but over HBCU being the mister of that university, bro, like, man, have you ever thought about that? Like, have it sunk in yet?
It's still kind of surreal, only because, and I say this in the most humble way, like, I still see people today and they still call me that. Like, wow. Like, it's crazy, bro, like, to know that you had that much of a positive impact on people, because people were like, man, we mess with you, man. I got to be myself. Like, I never changed up. I just was me. Like, I'm inner city hood to the core, but I never had to change, like, who I was, that inner city hood, I never had to change that to become Mr. TSU.
But, like, was that something you inspired to do, bro? Like, or somebody, like, recommended, like, bro, run for Mr. TSU? Because, I mean, where I'm from, I think we have similar backgrounds for sure, being from Chad and Memphis. I mean, it's like, we'll see somebody do it, but it ain't like something we be like, I'm going to do that. Like, senior year of college, you like, I'm going to do that. Freshman year, like, I'm going to do that. Like, how was that?
It's crazy, bro, because I've always been, I don't want to say the black sheep, but I've always been me. I've always been different. Like, I've just always been different. Now, I hooped in high school, ran track. I was a drum major. So I did all those things. One of my mentors when I was in middle school always drilled in us, as a young black man, how are you going to set yourself apart from what society sees you as, or tries to, force that narrative that you are? I was a transfer student. Remember, I told you I moved to Nashville when I was 14. So I was going into my sophomore year of high school. Like, that's one of the most critical times, because people are who they are. The friend group is who the friend group, the popular people are. And here I am coming to a whole new city, a whole new school. But the way I set myself apart was, not many men are trying to be student leaders at this point in their life, in high school. Right. So what I did was, I looked around, I saw we had the athletes here. I was cool with them because I was an athlete, but I was like, how am I going to set myself apart from just being another athlete? Right. So when it came time, I ran for Mr. Sophomore one. I ran for Mr. Junior one. I was senior class vice president. I was most attractive. I had a lot of superlatives. So that whole student leadership thing was something that I felt myself that could set me apart. And it did, because me running for those positions, teachers started nominating me for things like Nashville Summer Business Camp, Youth About Business. So now here I am, this low income, first generation kid. I'm rubbing shoulders with the elites, the who's in Nashville, kids like the Howard Gentrys, I'm rubbing shoulders with their kids, you know what I mean? So it put me in an elite group. So when I got to TSU, it was kind of the same thing. Like here you are in this new space, you know what I mean? I transferred in once again. People are already friend groups and who they were. So what's going to set me apart? So I immediately started looking at SGA. And then I thought about it, man, SGA get to travel to the classics. They get to wear fresh suits. They get stipends. You know what I mean? So I was, once again, trying to set myself apart. So the next step from SGA, I was on SGA for 2 years. The next step was Mr. TSU.
What do you think your favorite experience was when you was at TSU?
I would say it's a combination, man. It's a combination of, pledging Kappa Alpha Psi, of course, Alpha Theta chapter, and then being Mr. Tennessee State University. Because it was simultaneously, like literally the year after I pledged Kappa, I ran for Mr. TSU. So both of those things really, man, kind of helped mold me into the professional, the husband, the father, the mentor. It kind of molded me into who I am today.
Hey, look, Mario, and he couldn't lose Mr. TSU either because the tradition was like the Noops gonna be Mr. TSU, so you better figure this out. You gotta be cold, you better win. So he already knew he had to win, but he already had a swag. So he like, man, I'm killing all these dudes. So
man, you know what's crazy though, bro? Because like, man, you all know, like, man, when you get to college, you kind of like reinvent yourself. Like you can reinvent yourself if need be. I never had to do that, but I was so like chill and laid back. People really was like, dang, he gonna run for Mr. TSU. Yeah. What is he gonna do? Like, can he speak? Well, they knew I could speak because I was on SGA and stuff like that, but they was like, what's his talent? Like, what is he? Like, people never knew these things about me until I ran for Mr. TSU. Then it was like, where did this come from? Like, you know what I mean? So it was a dope experience, man.
So while you was at TSU, were you ever purged from one of your classes?
I was. I actually was, man. Believe it or not, I was purged probably the first year I got there, because I didn't know how all of that worked. Because again, first generation, I literally had nobody help me do nothing, bro. Like nothing. Yeah. Like nothing. I filled out my FAFSA myself. I filled out my application myself. I moved myself in, like, bro, like when I say, like, I didn't have the traditional college experience, bro. Like, I did everything myself. So in the midst of trying to learn all this and do everything myself, I got purged, bro. Like, I got purged.
Like, how did that experience help you with your startup HBCU hub that you have now?
Man, it really helped me. Like I said, all those experiences helped mold me into who I am and the way I think now. Man, making sure your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Making sure you use your voice and advocate for yourself. That's first and foremost. You have to advocate for yourself. So being in those situations taught me how to advocate for myself. Go in administration office and talk to people and not take no for an answer. If there was no student, there would be no TSU. So you can't tell me no. You can't do it, but someone can. So point me to the direction. So I learned all of these things, and it kind of transitions to business. You hear so many no's, bro. We're a startup company. We hear so many no's about no. But I know there's someone who's going to say yes. So that pulling from that experience really helps me on the business side of things.
So let's talk about the HBCU hub, man. Like, I don't know much about it. We'll talk about how kind of that started, the idea, your team, and things of that nature.
Okay. Man, it's crazy that when you start talking about something, man, you see how much your college experience really influenced the things that you do, right? So when I'm talking to students, I often talk about how I make them say their name and their dreams out loud, right? We could be sitting by each other this whole time we're in class. You want to be a chef and I want to be a restaurant owner, but because we never talked about our dreams, we would never connect. until years later I see Mario become a chef and I'm a restaurant owner. We could have eliminated a lot of time, trouble, and hassle. We just shared, right? So I said all that to say the way HBCU Hub started, right? I had this idea. I was working at Tennessee State University as an admissions counselor. So that's a fancy title for a recruiter, right? So I'm traveling all over the world, recruiting students to come to TSU. But I noticed on the East Coast and like New Hampshire, Maine, those type of places, and California, there's a whole coast of people who don't even know what HBCUs are. And if they do, they only know the big three, what I like to call the big three: Spelman, Morehouse, Howard, right? Everybody know the big three because all the celebrities donate to the big three. But there's a whole coast of people who didn't know what HBCUs were, right? So how can we ever close this gap if there's a whole coast of people that don't know we exist, right? So I had the idea like, man, I need to start an app that connects people to HBCUs, right? And so as I'm Googling, trying to make sure that you got to do your due diligence, once again, something I learned at TSU, making sure that there was nothing out there like it, because there's trademarks, copyright, all the legal things that go into. So I didn't want to put a lot of money and effort into something if it's already done, right? So I started Googling, couldn't find anything. And then I found HBCU Hub, right? So I reached out to a guy. It was similar to what I wanted to do, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. But I was always taught, why try to reinvent the wheel when you all can work together, right? He had an idea, I had an idea, together became HBCU Hub. So one of my partners, Jonathan Swindle, he's a Grambling graduate. He went to Grambling University. So his idea started as a pitch competition in Grambling's dorm room. They had a pitch competition. He thought of the idea for an app for HBCUs, and he's a developer by trade. He's a coder by trade. So he just started doing it. So when I saw his app, I reached out to him on LinkedIn, like, hey, bro, dope idea. I had an idea similar. Let's touch bases. He called me the very next week. We chopped it up, and I'm probably 7 or 8 years older than Jonathan. So he's really listening to me like, bro got a lot of experience. Plus he works in higher ed and admissions. Okay. So that's how we kind of came together, merged our ideas, and HBCU Hub was born.
Wow. My baby sister graduated from Grambling, man. So shout out to Grambling. How long did it take to actually get the app up and running?
So Jonathan has started developing the app in 2017. Okay. He and I met in 2018, and now 2022 we just released a new version of the app. So it's about a 4 to 5 year span of us, getting this thing tight right together to put out to the masses. But it's there now.
Yeah, how does it work?
HBCU Hub is the world's first app that connects transfer and high school students to HBCU administrators, coaches, band directors. So it's your one-stop shop for HBCU. So not only can you learn about HBCUs, you can apply to HBCUs, you can submit your transcripts, you can set up what we like to call video chat meetings with administrators, admissions counselors, like I said, coaches. So it's really connecting students to HBCUs.
Let's not gloss over that. So when you say history, so a person in Minnesota, they can find out background history about Tennessee State, Fisk, FAMU, any HBCU they want to?
All 107 HBCUs are listed on the app. You can get on, you download the app, you create a profile, right? We have three points of communication. So phone number, email, and Instagram, well, social media. Trying to keep up with the times. You can't have if you build it, they will come. You have to meet them where they are, right? And that's the message that we're trying to convey to these universities. Our main goal is to even the playing field, not only for the smaller HBCUs who don't have a large recruitment budget, But for HBCUs in general who don't have a large recruitment budget like the PWIs, right?
Right.
So we're basically a 24-hour recruiter because students are creating profiles all day, every day. And so as an HBCU, you will have access to our data to now start recruiting these students who you would have never got to meet in California or Oregon or Wyoming or, you know what I mean? So we're literally even in the playing field for HBCUs as a whole. We're ranked number 92 educational app on Apple out of about 7 million apps.
Yeah. Talk that, man. Talk that.
That's super dope, man. I didn't know it was that it worked like that. That's super dope, man.
Everybody know on HBCUs, there's always the yard, right? Yeah. So we added a feature on there called the yard, but it's a template of like Instagram. You can DM, you can put stories up, you can, share your pictures of your first day of class. Like you can do all these things on what we call the yard. You can ask professors and anyone questions, like they can private message you. Like, I was wondering what school is the best school for engineering. And if they wanted to, you can post that on your regular page, but someone could see that and then they can say, hey, DM me, let me talk to you about. So it's another recruitment method. Athletes, they can upload their tapes to coaches on the app. You can upload your transcripts on the app. We have a partnership with Scholar, which is the #1 scholarship app in the world. We have a partnership with them. So our students are, top picks for scholarships. Last year we did, I think it was 47 million in scholarships off the app. So,
wow. So how many users do you guys have?
Right now we're at about 25,000. The pandemic really set us back because before the pandemic, we had planned to go on tour like rock stars. We was hitting every high school event, every HBCU classic, every football game. Like we were just going to be there getting students on the app. But the pandemic kind of slowed us down. But now that everything's opening back up, you'll see us at, different expos. Like we're doing the Southern Heritage Classic College Fair. We're doing the Black Expo, the Black College Expo. So we're doing a lot of things now that, travel restrictions are opening back up. So,
man, that's so smart, man, because kids love apps, man, and that's the way to get to them right there. Like, man, that's the play, major play.
The new version of the app even lets students communicate with each other. So, like, if you were going to TSU, you were going to TSU, I was going to TSU, we were all in the app, but we all lived in Memphis, but my parents couldn't take me to visit. I can now link with y'all like, hey, y'all, when y'all going to visit? Let me see if it's okay with my mom if I ride with like it's really making the large world that much smaller. And having these students start networking and communicating early about college.
So how
bro, I try to steal that. I already see that.
That's trademark, man. You got a trademark and copyright, man.
We trademark, we have the world's only HBCU matchmaker. Right? We call them communicators. We ask students a series of 7 questions, and based on how they answer those 7 questions, it populates their top 3 schools that will fit what they're looking for. And then it also recommends 5 more.
That's slick right
now,
there.
that is trademark. We have the world's only HBCU matchmaker.
Wow.
So it asks questions like, do you prefer on or off campus housing? Do you prefer rural or city environment? Your majors? Do you prefer sports, band? Like it asks questions that kind of drills down what HBCUs have, what large, medium, or small. So there are groups of large, medium, and small HBCUs depending on how many students there are. So it's very intricate, but at the end of the questionnaire, it throws you out your top 3 HBCUs that has everything you're looking for, and then it has your close seconds, about 5 different other HBCUs that came in like a close second.
Are y'all in constant communication with like universities, keeping this data tight far as like, oh, okay, we hadn't got an update in 2 years?
So the only way the app works is that partnership between us and HBCUs, because there has to be an admissions counselor on the app. There has to be a coach on the app. Like these people have to be on the app because it's very interactive. Like it's a back and forth with student and university. So someone has to be on the app at all times. And that's why we made it an app, because your phone is always with you. So if you're, traveling or about to get on a flight and you get a message, you can easily, hey, I'm about to get on a flight, I'll hit you back later. Like, so we're basically making that large world smaller and more manageable for HBCUs. That was one of the things that we saw HBCUs had a large problem with, was data management. And so that's a problem that we're fixing for HBCUs because it's in the palm of your hand now.
And you just wanna get paid, tired of making the money mistakes, make a payment on your bills and you still late, yeah, Payneful Profits to help you seek change,